What's up, everybody? So, ever since Netflix put out that original movie that they did called Spectral about like month and a half ago, it kind of gave me some insight as to how Netflix is capable of actually making some good quality movies, and they're not just good at doing all their TV show stuff. Because trust me, I like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black as much as the next guy. But I don't always feel like binging a show for like 10 hours at a time. Sometimes I just want to watch an hour and a half, 2 hour long movie. So I checked out the movie iBoy that just came out, and if I could use one word to describe it, it would be It's not a very good movie, but it's not the worst movie. It's got some redeemable qualities. I totally do not accept the premise of the film, though, at all. The overall plot of the movie is a kid basically gets shot in the head while he's calling 911 on his iPhone, and then somehow, through some type of sorcery that is inconceivable to humanity, the parts of that iPhone get fused with his brain, and then he basically becomes the internet. Okay, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a neurologist, nor am I really super tech savvy. But from the basic knowledge of human anatomy that I can muster, I'm pretty sure that this would never happen under any circumstances ever. That's not even physically possible at this point. I don't even think that's realistic from a scientific standpoint. If by some miracle it is, feel free to correct me in the comments section and show me some links to some fucking articles because I would love to learn more about this if it is indeed possible. But from what I can surmise, this is not physically, psychologically, or mechanically possible. What possible parts of an iPhone could you connect to a person's brain at the current level of technology that we have them, that at that point the brain would not only not be damaged enough to the point where you die, but it repairs itself to the point where it fuses together with said parts. And not only does it fuse to those parts, but you have the ability to remote control pretty much the majority of technology. The point is, you can't just sprout a 4G brain. So I'm taking the movie down a whole bunch of pegs just for that reason alone. That's probably the biggest negative that I have about the movie, is the overall, just the idea behind it is just asinine in my opinion. But so that I don't come off as super aggressive anymore, let's talk about some of the positive things. One of which is Maisie Williams, aka Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. And she's easily one of my top 3 favorite characters on that show. So right when I see her on screen, I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. And the main kid who plays the iBoy, I recognized his face, and I knew I saw him in something, but I had to look it up real quick. There was this little World War II movie that came out last year called Anthropoid that I fucking loved, and he plays this, like, timid little violinist in, like, a small family in Czechoslovakia. He had, like, less than 20 minutes of screen time in that movie, but for the time that he was in it, he was really good. And Anthropoid is a really underrated movie, so go see it. And all the other actors in the movie were actually pretty decent. Like, I don't recognize any of them from pretty much anything, but they're all, like, they gave pretty good performances. And when the kid becomes, you know, a human iPhone, like the way he sees things, it's like everything's a pop-up screen, which also is another thing that made no fucking sense. However, the imagery of those things that were popping up, it kind of reminded me of like a Minority Report-esque, like, kind of visual effect, and I actually thought it was kind of cool to look at. Like, the special effects were very aesthetically pleasing. And most of the dialogue in the movie was actually, like, really good. Maisie Williams' character is, like, super in your face, like, just down to earth, like, realistic, and she's kind of like the voice of realism in that way. And I liked how the main kid, he was kind of like, he was a little bit of an outsider, he was kind of a dork, but it wasn't like over the top and everybody made fun of him. He was just a bit awkward, and he doesn't get as much attention from everybody as, you know, maybe a normal person would probably like. So it was kind of like a realistic fit. And then you had his grandma who was there to kind of keep him grounded, and then you had his best friend who was kind of in with the popular kids, but he's also kind of a hood rat. You know, there was a decent mix of characters. It was a little diverse, which is better than just having everybody just be like one note. They did some character development on even some of the smaller characters, which is cool. And I thought the music was also pretty decent. It fit the movie, you know, whatever. And there is one scene where iBoy has to kind of get answers from a bunch of drug dealers, and the manner in which he gets the answers out of them is, like, really cool. If you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that leads me to another negative. Not only can he control most technology, just in general, he can control pretty much every single bit of electricity known to man. Like light switches and alarm clocks and shit that's not a phone that's wireless. Like, this movie did not explain the science of anything that happened, probably because it's not fucking possible, and if it is, it's beyond astronomical. And not only that, but he de facto becomes a hacker as if he knows how to program things. Coding and programming takes a very long time to, like, learn and understand. Granted, it is possible that he could have ingested all that information and became smarter, but again, they didn't explain the science behind what happens, so it doesn't set that up. It's just randomly a thing that he's able to do. And not the main villain, but one of the, like, down low villains is, like, this off-brand Draco Malfoy. He's one of the ones that they didn't do any character development on. He's just, like, straight up an asshole. And I won't spoil it, but one of the abilities that he does, like, when it happens, like, first of all, you can see it coming, and then second of all, you're like, Well, no shit. Like, why didn't you do that 20 minutes into the movie? Like, this movie just totally pussyfooted around, like, what he was capable of doing, and it didn't even explain it in the process. So, like, the story is the main thing that, like, just ruined the movie for me, kinda. And then there's something else that he's capable of that is, again, unbelievable, not explained, just happens. Like, the movie was good eye candy, but not much else. It's got some redeemable qualities, but I can't give it a positive review because I was just losing my fucking mind because I didn't know what this movie was about. And then in the first 2 minutes, you see what's up, and you're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Turns out, no, they were completely serious. So despite a lot of the cool things about it, I'm gonna have to stick it with a 4.5. It's not bad if you can just buy into the irreality of somebody getting shot in the head and their iPhone getting fused to their brain, then you might actually like the movie, like you might enjoy it. I just could not rack my brain around how fucking ridiculous that is. But anyway, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Did you see this movie? Did you see a trailer? Are you excited? Drop in the comments. Let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I will catch you guys later.